Yes, yes, we are recording now. All right. Good evening, everybody. Once again, if you cannot hear me at any point, you could just let me know, right? And I'm so glad to be here tonight. Thank you, Eniola, for the introduction. Eniola is an amazing team member. She's also an amazing friend, right? So, well, this is one of the interesting topic I like to talk about, right? Which is on visuals, right? So today we're going to be talking on graphic design. But before I go into it, I also want to reintroduce the profitable place and the SkillHathon that we are offering. I've seen it got a lot of questions, but just briefly to let you know that the 12 weeks are going to be packed with different skill sets, right? No, not all the 12 weeks, but a major part of the 12 weeks will be for different skill sets. Then the other part will be for applications and jobs hunting, right? Then there's going to be some part that also talk about investment and money management and other stuff like that, which we're going to be having a very interesting speaker. I will not tell you guys the gist, but she's not from Nigeria. She's very good at what she does, right? So, but let's go straight to my own class today, which is graphic design and AI designing. So I'm going to be juggling a lot of things this evening, right? From my screens to browsers. We're just going to pack all that we can get within the next 2 hours, right? So if you can see my screen, you can please let me know when I start sharing. Don't mind so let me just lead in advance. I have a lot of tabs, right? Should I share system audio? Can I share my entire screen? Okay, let me see if I can share screen. Share screen. All right, if you can see my screen, can you just let me know? I think I have we are going to start from the theoretical part before we go into practical. So, but I want to be sure that my screen is visible. Can somebody let me know that my screen? Please let me know, is my screen visible? I'm no longer on Telegram, but
Yes, your screen is visible. We can see your screen.
Oh, great! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, I want to start with this session. We have about 6 sections tonight. So, but I want to start from this particular place, which is creative framework, introduction and creative framework. If you go to Lightpath Creative Studio, the website, on our blog session, we have an article on this particular framework. Yes, you will permit us. It's a framework that was coined from the scripture, from the Bible, right? But I just want to start from that point before I go into graphic design as a whole. So when we talk about creativity, when we talk about designing, or and I'm not talking about this as regards just graphic designing, but I'm talking about creating stuff, right? We use this framework a lot in what we do in our studio and even as a person. The first thing is presence. So I'm just going to summarize it quickly because of time. So the first thing about the framework is the first P, which is presence. This place has to do more with the kind of presence that you cultivate with divine, basically. So if you are a Muslim, if you are a Christian, but like I said, this framework was coined from the scripture, and it's a framework that I believe helps you for creative expression. My mentor has a broader framework on this. That's Mr. Michael Tommy Light, right? If you go and search him up online, you can read more about him. And I think he has mentioned all this framework in his post. So the presence that you cultivate has to do with where you get your inspiration from, right? If you look at the creations, look at the things that God has made, there are enough place for you to draw creativity from, right? And creativity thrives when the mind is calm and receptive. So when you have a kind of a connection with God, right? There's a way that it helps your mind as well to flourish. helps your mind to properly articulate things, right? Then the person, this one is very fundamental because your creativity is an expression of who you are. Your creativity is an expression of who you are. So if you're a bad person, right, you will create bad things. That's true. And if you're a good person as well, you will create good things. Eniola, if you are still with me, can you still hear me, Eniola?
I can hear you.
All right. So I would appreciate that some of the nudges as we speak can just be dropping it on the Telegram or on WhatsApp as well, so that I can by that also monitor that I'm still being listened to, right? So I'll just continue believing that you can hear me as I'm speaking. So number two has to do with your person. You are first of all the tool. The designer is the first tool. So let me use the word tool, right? It's not about using platforms. You are first of all a designer, right? You are first of all a person who is a designer that now designs or that creates things, right? So who are you as a person, right? Who are you as an individual? And it tells basically on the kind of things that you create. There's a passage that says a good tree brings forth good fruits, right? And a bad tree as well also brings forth bad fruit, right? That's just like a fundamental, right? So your great design begins with personal growth and continuous learning. Your design itself starts from who you are, and it will tell in your work, right? So number two has to do with your place. The place you find yourself, it also influences your creativity, your environment, the industry that you find yourself, the space. All this influences your creativity, right? Your context, your relevance, all these are part of it that determines your creativity, right? So number four, which is people. So your design itself is a communication, right? Every visual is a communication. You are trying to communicate something, which we are going to talk about when we get into the conversations very well. And your design work should be able to solve a problem, should be able to reach a people, right? Should be able to help somebody. So that means when you are creating in mind, you should have people in mind. Or when you are creating, when you are designing, you should have people in mind. You should have people in mind when you are designing. So that means you want to understand who will this design help, who are the people that needs it, how do they behave, how will they respond to it, right? Then the last one, which is product, right? Your it has to do more with packaging, right? I think we talk about it on personal brand. Right? So your design itself could be a product that people can adopt, can use. So I'll give you a practical example. While I was still in school, I think it was my first school experience. That was when I was in NC. We kind of, myself and a few friends, we designed one of our logos, right? And after designing that logo, I left the school. I was done, right? Other sets, like 3, 4, 5 sets. And anytime I check back, I can see that they still use the pattern at which I created that logo, even till now. So that means I created something that after I had left, right, it was still functioning, that people can still use it. And that's where the word impact also come in, right? Your design, your creativity can become a product or a tool for impact, right? So that's that on the framework. Number one, presence. Number two, persons. Number three, place. Number four, people. And number five, products, right? So I'm going to go to the next slide, which I will talk on what is design itself, understanding design as a visual communication. Like I've talked about that earlier on. When you are designing, you are trying to communicate. So sometimes something just flashed back into my mind. Sometimes when you see a design work, you can tell the art of the person that designed that thing, right? Sometimes when someone that is sad, and when I'm talking about graphic design, I'm not just talking about design as graphics, I'm talking about design on the broad scale, right? If you're a designer, sometimes your creativity can tell us the state of your emotions. You are trying to communicate something, basically. That's what it means. It also is a tool for problem solving. So I don't know how many of you have been to public toilets, right? And you will see an icon that was designed there. There is an icon for male, there's an icon for female. That is a design work that is solving a problem. Because if the icon is not there, and I just remember that experience. I went for an event one time, so I wanted to use the restroom. So I wanted to use myself, and I did not check the icon on the door. So I opened the door when I realized that that was a female restroom, right? So by the time I opened the door, thankfully it was not like a single toilet, like a roll of toilet. I saw some ladies stand, and they looked at me awkward, like, what's this guy doing here? I just apologized and went back, and that was because there was no proper indication of this is a female restroom, and that's where design comes in place. Design is an intentional work of problem solving, right? It's also a means of art. Art is also, you can use it as a tool for art, right? You would have seen some creative designs that will blow your mind up. That's what they also do. So why does design matters? Basically, we use design for branding. So some of you that have learned personal branding now, you can use design as a tool to enhance your personal branding. We use it for marketing, we use it for education, for business growth, and for social impact. And there are various types of design as itself. So people can, and these are areas that you can specialize on. We have graphic design, we have brand designing, we have UI UX design, we have motion design, we have product design. There are many more. We have product design. We have packaging design as well. Then the new one that is trending now, which I kind of wrote, I think I wrote something some time ago, is AI assisted design. Please, can you still hear me? If you are following, just type on the group, WhatsApp group, following. I'm following. If you're on the WhatsApp group, you can just write, I'm following on the WhatsApp group. Or if you're on Telegram, so you could just write it, I'm following. So I know that, oh, yeah, I'm following. Thank you so much. I can see a message coming and I'm following. Thank you for that. So there are various types of design, and you can know all of them, and you can choose to specialize. We even have illustration design, we have animation design, we have presentation designs. I did not put them on the slide here, but there are so many types of design that people can specialize in, right? So then once you understand what design is as a basic, right, the next thing is you need to understand what we call you need to understand the principles and the basics. There are core basics that are in design. I could not put my hand through pictures, but I'm going to demonstrate some of them as we talk. We have what we call the foundations of great design. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my light very well. We have foundations, the foundations of great design, right? And these foundations are in two levels. We have elements and we have principles. Let me just quickly cover that. We have elements and we also have principles. So what are, sorry, I think I just got a mistake. Okay. So we have elements and we have principles, right? And I will take them one after the other. So let's talk about design elements or elements of design, elements of design or design elements, right? So the first one here is lines. Yeah, okay. I want to be sure that my video and everything is working perfectly as it should be. All right. Okay. So the first one here is line. So every great design that you see, every graphic design you see, we always have lines on them. So now let me go online. Let me download a flyer. I have a lot of tabs that are open. Oh, you can't see my tab. You can only see, okay, you can see my tab. Okay, let's check. Let's go to Pinterest. So I'll be switching in between, right? Let's get the flyer design. And this is a platform where I get inspiration from, which you should note down. It's called Pinterest. Pinterest Pinterest is one great place where you can find great design. Like, okay, thank you. So let me save this image, or let me just snip it. So I'm going to be doing everything from scratch today. So that's why I'm copying. I'll be copying and snipping. I'll be going through different tabs. So first of the element of design number one, we have lines. Lines are let me give you a part. This is a line, right? This is a line that has from point A to point B, right? This is a line here, right? Let me increase the weight of the line to like 10 so that you can see it very clearly. What color of line is this? What color is this? For those of you that can see my screen, if you can see my screen, this is how to follow, so I know that you can see my screen. This is a what color? You can just drop it in chat. I'll create a session, or and I can just put a place on Telegram and you can see. So this is a white line, right? This is a line, which is a white line. You'll find lines around in some design. Let's see. This design, for example, does not have line. In fact, these are lines here. Look at this line here. This is a line. So that you'll find it basically on designs. That's number one. So when I talk about these elements, you always find them in almost all designs, all graphic design that you see. Number two is shape. This is a rectangle. For those of us that know rectangles are longer length and shorter breadth, or longer breadth and shorter length. So that could be horizontal or vertical, right? So this is a shape. You can see, I'm using the design as a sample, right? You can see that there is a shape around this design, which is this rectangle. It's a shape. Look at this is a circle here, right? Let me draw a circle. For those of you that did primary school, you must have been taught all this in primary school. Circle, rectangle, then triangle, right? Which is also, yeah, this is a triangle. All these are shapes, right? And oftentimes you will find one or two or majority of them in some designs. Look at this logo that is here. This logo that is here. Look at this logo that is here. Skill, science, and technology. It was basically made with circles. So now let's create something like that just to show you. I'm going to show you this two. This is a circle, number one. They drew a circle like this, number one. Then another circle, right? Which is one like this, right? Okay, all the circles are having stroke, which I'm going to talk about later on. We have what we call stroke or properties. Let me increase it to 2. And the line color is yellow. It's like a yellow color. Let me just pick. No, this more like an orange color, right? Then there's no fill inside. So you can see that this logo here was basically done with circles. Basically circles. Yes, this is it here. Can you see? This is it, right? And they drew another circle again, even inside here, right? This is interesting. You can see basically how that shapes form a major part of designs. This is a circle. They drew another one at the top here, right? They drew another one somewhere here, right? They drew another one somewhere here, basically. And that's all. So this is basically a logo of a club. I don't know, right? But how was this logo formed? With just circles all around, and that's all. So you can see that this element is an important aspect of designing, which is shapes. Then the next one we have is texture. We don't have so much text. Okay, we have like a texture. You can look at this area of this file again. It has like some depths around it, and some texture are made out of various shapes, arranged and other, right? So this is the texture here. You can also check more on it. Then we have space. Now, the aspect of space in designing is that it gives your design a breathing room. You can find where this one is, and you can differentiate it from where the other one is. That is the whole idea behind space. Space in design is to give your visuals, like you can look at this design. I just like this graphic that we are using here, and I'm going to be using it a lot more. Look, you can see from this region here down here, there was like a big amount of space there, right? Then from this region as well to this region here, there is space. There is space here. There is space down here. There are spaces around. It helps your design to have breathing room. I'm going to give you an assignment, right? So I'm going to give an assignment when we get there. So that's for space. We have two types of space. We have the positive space and we have the negative space. You can read more about that. I don't want to go into that tonight because of time. I want to cover a lot of things, and I'm seeing slide 2, right? Then we have form. We have form. So forms are like 3D shapes. That's what we call forms. So I don't know if you have seen some design that, okay, for example, look at this circle. This circle has a depth beneath it, like a shadow, right? And it looks as if the circle is like a big something that it now casts a shadow downward. You can refer to such a thing as a form. However, how does a form take place? It's usually a combination of a shape and some form of either shadow. Oftentimes it's either combination of a shape with shadow. For example, let me say I want to turn this circle to have some form of depth, right? I could just give it a shadow, for example. You can see that I now have, let me even increase my shadow here. Can you see? You can see that it has like a depth beneath it that makes you think as if this shadow is this circle is on top of something. It's a longer shape. I'm just seeing the top side, right? So that's that about form. I'm trying to cover up as quick as possible because I still want us to go into some other stuff. Then the last one is typography. Typography has to do with the writings on the visuals. This writing here, skill to grow for life. These are typography. That means typed. It was typed there, right? So, for example, I want to type something here, and I will type mine now. No. Let me. Oh, I'm using a text shape. So let me put my own text. Let me reduce this here so that I have a space for that. All right. So, for example, this is graphic design, which was typed. Graphic. Why is my text not showing? Because I'm using like a white color, or what's happening? Okay, it's behind the flyer. Let me bring it upward. So you can see that anything I type now also goes here. Design. Right? So every visuals have these elements. You find them basically on all the elements. So then the next one, we have principles that guide designs. Principles that guide design. Principles are laws and regulations that tells you how to use something in design. We have a balance, we have contracts, we have hierarchy, we have alignment, we have repetitions. Look at this design, for example, there are repetitions of color there. Yellow here, yellow, this is yellow and orange, yellow. You can see that majority of the color that were used were repeated. Blue, yellow, like that. You can repeat color, you can repeat shape. But sometimes it's good to have repetitions. We're not exploring the principles because that may take all of our time and we're not able to cover. We have consistency as well. Consistency has to do with when you're using a particular shape or size, use it continually. That's be consistent with the usage. Then we have what we call emphasis. Let me just explain emphasis quickly. So emphasis is a principle that tells you that make the important text or the primary words bigger than the other ones. I wish I could have us speak here. So who can tell me on this flyer design here, which of the text has the higher emphasis? When you look at this flyer, you can see which of these text has the higher emphasis. Somebody can just drop that on the group. I want to get a response. When we talk about emphasis, is you make the wordings, or you make the emphasis has to do with you make the what is important more obvious to be seen, right? You emphasize it. Either you make it bigger or you repeat it so that people can know that this is what you're trying to talk about. So I'm asking, I don't know if you can still hear me, if you are following me. On this design that you can see, which of these elements here is more emphasized?
Graphic
Which
design
of the elements? Yes, graphic design is more, the word design, actually. The word graphic and design is more emphasized, it's bigger. You can tell that that is what they are trying to talk about around this design. That's the principle of emphasis, right? You can read more about this, right? But I don't want to go into all the whole explanations. Common design mistake, too many fonts. So when you are designing, you don't use too many weddings or too many fonts. So another typography, what we call fonts. Fonts are like handwriting style. I believe majority of us on this call, we don't have similar handwriting. And it applies on computer as well, or on designing. They are what we call fonts. So there are different styles of writing or typography. So you don't use so much of them. You use a coily one, you now use a bent one, your design is now full with different types of fonts. So it's always recommended that you use maximum of 3 fonts. 3. Minimum 2. In fact, sometimes I use 1 because of what we call variations. We have what we call variations now. So sometimes I can use just a single font, but with different variations. But maximum, don't go beyond 3. Poor color combination. I think you should learn about color combinations as well. How do you combine color? There's a proper master class on this color and I teach people, right? But because of our time, I don't want us to go into lack of hierarchy. I talked about hierarchy, cluttered layout rather. When you're arranging, you arrange your text, your elements properly so that it does not look clustered. It does not look so clustered. So sometimes you give it breathing space. Then low image quality. So sometimes when you are designing, I want to put a picture. You should check the picture very, very well. That is this picture clear enough? In fact, this design that I'm using here, for example, you can see that the quality is not so good, right? Because you can see how bad it is. So let's move on quickly. We have so much to cover, right? We have so much to cover. Thank you so much. I can see somebody is dropping message on the group as well. Thank you. Yeah, now let's move to the next one, which is the interesting part. Introduction to AI in design. Yeah, this is section 4. We have 2 more. And I have some practical I'm going to be giving us as well. So this aspect has to do with how does AI come into design now, right? And I want to quickly make this statement quickly that AI is not here to replace designers. AI is here to make your work effective. Because we are on this call, I will not be able to show you some of my works that I do with AI, but I will just teach you guys some things. But I have some. I should have prepared some of them that I could have shown you guys, but because of I work with some organizations, right, and I'm not able to tell you that organization in particular, but we use AI. And so the concept of AI comes to design, what I call AI assisted design. So what that means that AI is assisting you as a designer to make your work effective. So you should help me write that and put fire on it. right? So when I call AI assisted design, it simply means AI is coming to assist you as a designer to make your work effective and make it even fast and yes, effective, quick, and excellent. So using artificial intelligence to enhance creativity and it helps you to enhance your creativity and productivity. It will help you in ideations, image generations, copywriting, branding, mock-up, background removals, and image enhancements. So let me take you guys to ChatGPT, for example, which is one of the popular AI platforms that majority of people use. I have so many AI platforms that I use. I'll just take you through some of the free ones, right? Let me go to ChatGPT first. Let me go to ChatGPT. So, um, let me see if I have one AI design here. So this was okay. Let me check something here. I'm going to explain something, but first of all, I said AI design. AI design can help you with ideation. So I think since the like invention of AI, it has made my work very easy. I barely have idea blockage. And that's because AI can just help you like generate things. So this is like a practical. I told AI ChatGPT to create some design concepts for me, right? So let me show you an image. Yeah, this is one design that I was working on that I asked ChatGPT to help me um, curate, right? Yeah, so this is it. It was helping me edit some stuff around it. This was like a design that I created by itself. But that was not a perfect work of what I wanted, right? But at least it's assisting me to give me proper ideas that I can work with. So let's start a new chat. So for example, ChatGPT, most of these platforms, they have free versions that you can use, right? Another person I will mention is Gemini. I know some of you know Gemini. Gemini, right? Gemini. In fact, so for example, say I want to create a design or I saw a design that I like. I think I mentioned earlier on Pinterest. Pinterest is one place where I find design inspirations. Like if I want to design something and I don't have ideas, something I could just go there. So now let me show you something. Let's use Pinterest, for example. Let's get an idea from Pinterest and let's work with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is also powerful, right? ChatGPT, Gemini is a good tool that you can give a try, right? So let's use ChatGPT. Let me show you just to explain the concept of AI assisted design, right? Let me open a church flyer design. So for example, before I bring it, okay, look at these are some designs here on Pinterest. These are designs, right? I could first of all ask chat and say, let me use chat, let me use Gemini, but let me just move them together, right? So now let's say, for example, I am thinking of creating a flyer design for a church program. What concept will you recommend? Can you see? And you will see that it basically will give me some explanations. Oh, it has even created it for me. For church program flyer, the best concept depends on the theme of the event. Since you are a designer, I recommend starting with a spiritual atmosphere you want people to feel, then build the visuals around it. Yeah, 7 concepts: divine encounter, revival, mood, sacred, powerful, heavenly. Element that should be there: light, ray, cloud, worshippers in Ceylon, right? Gold, white gold palette and stuff like that. So you can even ask it itself to like, can you design? Let me create image. and say, can you create one with this theme, Night of Design Power. I'm just using it as an example, right? Let's see if you can create one for us. I hope you are following me. If you are following, just say I'm following. If you are following, say I'm following. Just write it on the group. Yeah, thank you for this. Yes, okay, thank you so much. I'm following. Thank you so much for that. Um, so I'm using. So I'm waiting for chat to give me it's trying to create an image. Let's see what it brings out for me. Let's see what it brings out for me. Wow. So can somebody say wow? Like, can you see what this just created? He even put the ministry and everything name on it. Who can see that? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So, like I mentioned earlier on, AI is coming to assist you basically. AI cannot do it by itself, right? It will basically assist you based on what you are planning to do, and it will help you create that thing, right? So it's not like it's coming, because I've had a lot of comments about people saying AI is coming to take their job, and AI is not going to take your job. AI is going to assist you to make your job very effective, right? So going back to the concept of AI assisted design I'm talking about, right? It will help you in idea generation, image creation, copywriting. In fact, AI now does branding for people like logo and stuff like that, but it's not at the perfect place. It's what it just do basically is to give you an idea. It is left for you to now utilize them. Mock up, background removers. I use ChatGPT very well for background remover, right? Even image enhancement, I use it a lot. For it. So now, am I just going to tools now? Let's just touch some tools, some platforms. Traditional platform or design platform. Before now, the popular platform that people know is Photoshop. I also use Photoshop a lot. I still use it now. Adobe Illustrator, CorelDRAW. Then we have beginner-friendly platforms like Canva. The other ones are Adobe Express, VistaCreate. Like I mentioned, ChatGPT is also an AI platform. Midjourney, I barely use it, but it's also a good place. Gemini, I use Gemini often. Canva AI. So let me go to platforms. So there are two categories of platforms. We have the online platform for designing. We have the offline platform that are called softwares. So for example, Adobe Photoshop is a platform. In fact, Figma should be here. Figma is also Figma. So the platform I'm using for this presentation, for example, is Figma. Actually, Figma is designed for product design, UI, UX, right? But I also use Figma for graphic design. In fact, some of the flyers that you see for this event, right? I do everything on Figma. This is my design on Figma here, right? And some of my team members also joined in the design, right? So we have been using Figma for a while now in our design, right? So this is a platform that I also use for design, and unfortunately, it's an online platform that it also has like a free version. It has its own paid plan too, right? But as So these are something I've done with this Figma, right? I just explain the platform. I'm going to come back to it. We also have a platform like Canva. My team and I, we have like a premium Canva that we use for some of our client job. Let me just show you. So you can go to canva.com as well and sign up for it. Canva also have some free templates that you can also use to create designs. It has templates for presentation, for poster, resume, email, invitations, flyer, logo. These are templates. So that's one. If you are a beginner designer, you can always try all these templates. You just pick one of them, edit the text, the photos, and stuff like that, based on what you want to achieve. You could just, and it now has its own AI that you could just type to ask it, I want to create something around so something. Just chat with it. AI is now becoming like a major part in even in design. For example, say I want to do a flyer. I'm just trying to walk you guys through all these platforms, right? So this is Canva, for example, right? And I will tell you what's the similarity that you find in most of these platforms. There are similarities around them. Sorry, my internet is a bit lacking. So this is the AI on Canva. I want to create a flyer design for an event. It can help you search, or it can help you generate a new idea. You can see the AI itself is actually it's trying to like create something for you, right? And it also give you some suggestions like look at designs here. You can just pick one of these ones and edit and use, right? So this is also a platform. Like I mentioned, Figma is also a platform. Let me go back to my slide here. So if you really want to get to know more of this platform, you could get some videos on YouTube. In fact, if you check our channel, for example, I think I have a few videos on them. Now, one of the things that you see that is similar among these platforms, most especially this design platform, are templates. You will find templates number one. Like I showed you on Canva, it will show you some free template that you can use. It will give you a text bar, text where you can use to type or write on. It will also give you stuff like shapes and elements. Like the way I have my shapes and elements here on Figma, right? You will also find them too on Canva. So all these platforms always have that area of elements. Look at this here. This one has what we call elements. I'm comparing it with Canva now. Shapes, graphics, animations, photos, stuff like that. It has them here. I'm going to do one practical as well. Then we have what we call layers. We have image, color control. It will give you a place where you can set colors, like even on Figma here, for example. This is your color control. You can control the color you want to put around your text, right? Then give you an export feature. An export feature is know that when you are done designing on their platform, how can you send your design out? For example, on Figma is export. You can export it out instantly. On Canva, for example, let's say I made this design. This shape, let's put this shape here. I'm already working on the design, for example. This is a design. And I forgot to mention, you will find what we call a Canva. A Canva is like an open space where you can put all your designs into. So this is a shape, right? Let me add a text. This is a text. I want to add an heading text. This is my design, right? I can choose to duplicate it and put one here. So like I mentioned, all these platforms will give you an option to export. If you click on share on Figma here, for example, right? Click on download. It will ask you, how do you want to download this file? Do you want to download as a PNG, JPEG, and other stuff? These are also file formats. I might not cover that. Then you can just download it. automatically it download and you can find it on your computer. So this was the file I designed. Right? In fact, this was the design I worked on today, that I had to use AI to create the major image that I need for that design, which was this design. It was AI that generated this image from it, and I used it to create what I wanted to do. So sometimes how to generate image with AI, you have to specify what you want to achieve. So for example, this design, I needed to like create, the design itself was for a developer community. So I needed something that can demonstrate a developer experience, like people that are working on a code. I explained it to it, and it helped me to now create. And in fact, you could even tell it the color you want to use and stuff like that. So it was one that generated this for me. Right. Now let's go to some practical. Go to section 6. Let's do some practical. I think I've done practical 1, exploring Canva and Figma. I might not talk about Adobe Express. You can check it out. So the first thing that you see on these platforms are like their interface. Figma is more broad, right? But if you come to Canva, for example, you see that Canva has a Canva board. It has a template. It has elements. It has text. It has brand. It has a Canva AI. You can upload an image as well. Let me upload an image. These are some images that we have uploaded here. Let me upload this image, for example. Let me use this one. This is an image I'm uploading here, right? Just to spice up my design. I'm just doing, right? So it has other tools. Then you can have, this is like a drawing tool, shape tools and stuff like that. Line, sticky note, text. Then we have what we call projects. It's like a section in Figma, on Canva that shows you your past designs that you have created, right? And sections are the way you arrange them, right? So that's that on Canva templates, right? If you come to Figma as well, Figma is very wide, very, very wide. So if you're interested in learning more about Figma, then you can now, you could talk, you could send me a DM, we can help you for that. But Figma also has what we call the dashboard like this, which is the interface where you can find the toolbars. These are the toolbar, yes. You can find the layer. This is the layers here, right? You can find the text control, which is the text control, which is on this side. These are the text. Then you can find your color controls. You find them here. Then your export options, which are the very important aspect. How do you export your design and everything? So create a social media flyer. So that's exercise number 2 we want to do. Then exercise 3, we are going to use an AI generated image. So let's say we want to create a project that is titled Digital Skill Bootcamp. That's the title of the project. And on this slide, we need to add a background, we need to add a headline, add a supporting text, proper hierarchy, apply color harmony, and export design. So how will I use AI to achieve this, for example? If you are still following me, can you say I'm following?
Following, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for listening and speaking. Yeah, that helps me to know that we are still together. So I want to create a flyer design. So first of all, your flyer design, I'm going to create it both on Figma here, and I also create it on Canva. So let me draw a template of how I want my flyer to be. So flyer size is usually in square size, or you use a rectangular one. So, but I want to first of all do the square as 1,000, the width to be 1,000, and the height to be 1,000, right? Don't forget, this is what we want to create here. Let me put the text in black so that we can see it clearly. It's a design. digital skill design bootcamp, right? So I want to get background, headline, supporting text, and proper hierarchy, apply color harmony, export design at the final end. So let me take this text, let me take it to ChatGPT for why isn't ChatGPT? We can use Gemini too, but let's use ChatGPT. So let's ask ChatGPT some questions and let's interact with it in creating this design. I want to create a flyer design. So this thing I'm doing, everybody are going to do yours and send it to me as well on the group, right? This is the details for a digital skill bootcamp, right? Students should. This is the details of the bootcamp here. So these are what things I want to achieve, right? So I will tell it, help me or give a visual guide for the following. Number one, background. So let me remove this ad. Let's just move to number one, background. Number two, headline. Number three, supporting text, proper hierarchy. Then color. So let's remove this export design. Let's just do color harmony. Number four or number five. So I want you to give me a guide for the following: background, headline, supporting text, hierarchy, and color. And give me a visual guide for the following. He's thinking. Wow. Can you see? It says, okay, for a digital skill bootcamp flyer, the goal is to communicate innovation, growth, technology, and opportunities while maintaining a clear visual hierarchy. For the background, you can choose a dark navy or deep purple background, subtle digital. Okay, the concept is tech plus gradients, floating UI elements, charts, codes, snippets, slow glowing light concept. So it even gave us two concepts: career transformation, split design, person learning on laptop. So that means perhaps you can use the one that shows somebody learning on laptop. Left, on the right, digital skill icon emerging, digital concept 3, AI and creative economy. The headline should be digital skill bootcamp. The size should be, the font size should be 48 to 72, bold weight, all cap or title case. Alternative headline could be learn high income data. I think I like this one, so I want to work with this one. Learn high income skill, right? Styling. It also suggested what fonts to use, which I talked about, typography to use, right? Look at how it asked me to arrange them. Digital skill bootcamp. This start about create impact. Supporting text. Let's start from number one. From here, headline text, digital skill bootcamp. So it told me to arrange them like this, one step at a time, right? So let's go back here and choose our text. No, yeah, and let's use this one. Learn, but you have to arrange it in this order. Learn high income digital skills. So this is an order that is suggested. It said the text should be bold, right? It could be all cap, but I want to use Inter. This is a typography I'm using, Inter. And he suggested that we should not exceed 48 to 72 points, right? So let's increase this to like, let's see 70. Wow, this is cool, right? Don't forget that it also suggested the background to use, which we have not generated it yet, right? Dark navy or deep purple background. We're going to generate this later on. But let's come back. Let's go to supporting. Okay, the styling suggested was Montserrat extra bold or popping bold. So let's use popping. Let me go back again, click on this text and search for popping, which is like this is it, popping bold, right? Can you see? So supporting text, it says example, it should be immediately below the headline. Master graphic design, AI tools, web design, digital marketing, blah, blah, blah. So let's keep it. He said keep it within 2 to 3 line maximum. Medium with easy to scan. So let's copy this. Master graphic design, say within 2 lines. Then you add the date, the time, the venue, and free or registration fee. So let's copy these 3 things to like say we should add after this. So now let's put it here. The first one is the master graphic design. This is too big. Did it suggest to us the size? Sorry, I keep opening this place. Let's see. It did not suggest the size, but it says within two lines. So that means we need to, it's a subtext, right? So let's reduce it a little bit to like 30. He said it should be medium, not bold. Let's use medium. You can, I'm aligning my design to the left side, right? You can choose to make your own center. You can choose to make it anywhere, but I'm doing this one. Right? Then he said after that you can add the date and every other thing to it, which is suggested, right? I copy those things as well, so I can just arrange it. Date, venue, and register. Let me put this 3 on a straight line. I don't have it this way. I'm just going to put those text there like that, the way it is. So, oh, sorry. Now, let's see what it says. Proper hierarchy. A viewer should understand the flyer within 3 seconds. So that means level 1, digital skill bootcamp could be in this form. Level 2, learn graphic design here. Level 3, date, time, venue. Level 4, facilitators, partners. Level 5, register now. Level 6, limited slots. Visual structure. This should be supporting state. Skill icon, date, time. Color hierarchy, deep navy blue, electric blue, white, and cyan, right? That's for professional text. So let's try this color code I suggested. Deep navy blue. Let me change this from black. Let me see the color that I suggested. That's actually like a black, but it's a navy blue color, not black. If you look closely, you can see it's a blue. But we have not generated the background that we needed to use. So let's ask it to. So this is what I always ask AI to do when I want to create a background. I will tell it, suggest 3 image generation prompts for the background. So I just remembered something. Before AI came into place, what do we used to use to get background before AI came into place? Why is it not going? Okay. So before AI came on board, there used to be platforms that we use, which I needed to quickly highlight that. So that you will not be stuck with AI alone, right? Is my screen. So there are platforms that we usually use to generate image. One of them is this platform that is called Magnific. They just rebranded. Their name before used to be FreePic. but now they're now magnific. There are other platforms that you can generate image from. You can not generate image, you can download images, background, icons, and stuff like that from. So before AI came on board, we used to have platforms like this that we used to download images from, free photos and stuff like that. You can just tell it tech background. Let's say I want to do tech background. I think somebody just dropped a message on the group. Can you see? These are free images from, some of them are free, some of them are paid, right? Some of them are paid. Now you can also now use AI to now create background based on what you want. So let's go back to ChatGPT. I think my ChatGPT is still sleeping. Let me refresh this page because it's not responding now. While ChatGPT is still loading, let me just go back to Magnific. There are other platforms, right, like I mentioned. But this is one of the platforms that I do use. Download images. I can just look at this image, for example. I can choose to download this one. Just click on the download icon. You need to create an account with them, though. So once you create an account with them, you can download their icons and you can use it in your design. Let me see if my ChatGPT is back. ChatGPT is still sleeping. Okay. So now let me ask the question. Suggest 3 variation prompts for the background of the file. Yes, so these are prompts that suggest a futuristic digital learning environment with glowing holistic interface, blah blah blah. Now let's copy this prompt. I can even tell it to create the prompt. So create. Amount of message, I cannot use ChatGPT now. I've finished using my free account. So let's see if you can create an image for me. Create image. Let's see if you're able to create it. So this is one of the limitation of ChatGPT. Once you're using a free account and once you use the free to stop, right? I hope our call is still being recorded. I hope this call is still being recorded. Okay, it's still being recorded. Great. Let's go back. Let's see if it's created this image for us. Wow. This is what ChatGPT just created for us. And I think it's kind of shows some of the things we are trying to design. So let me work with this. I can just choose to download. And sometimes if you don't like the design or you don't like things around, you can always ask it to edit it or make some adjustments. Guys, give me a minute. I need to pick my glasses. My eyes is itching me now. I want to use my glasses. Just give me a minute, please. Okay. Yeah. So I would also recommend for designers, please, when you are working on screen, please try and get a glass. Not just any out glass, right? Get a photochromic or blue light. I think it's called blue light, right? Blue light glasses. It's very, very helpful. Yeah, save your eyes because you're always exposed to so much light and it could affect your eyes. So for me, I'm sensitive to light. So when I see that there's too much light on my face begins to tell. So I needed to just get my glasses. And also I have a ring light in my front as well. So there's a way that the light is on my face. So I've downloaded that photo from ChatGPT. This is it here. I could just drag it into Canva. Sorry, into Figma. I'm using Figma for this design. And let's make it come to the back. You can, I just want to. So because these elements are on the right and the left side, I would prefer to put my text at the center. Every of my words is at the center. That means I'll have to adjust some of these things so that they can fit well. And I might not go with the color I suggested because the background and the color I suggested is not so cool. So let me just use a white text here. Can you see how clear this is, right? And I can reduce the, let me reduce this a bit. It is, reduce this so that the text is a bit closer to each other. So if you have a Canva account, you can be practicing the same that I'm doing now, because I'm also giving you as a classwork everybody. So you are going to be doing the same thing. Now there's a technique that I want to talk about. When you are designing and you're using a background that is dark, and you observe that the background is dark like this one that we're using, for example, I recommend that you use a light color on the text, like I'm using white now. The white will help the text to come out well. So this one now, because I want to make some difference, I can choose to make this a shape instead and put all the text. Yes, this is a white shape, right? I'm just doing this roughly, right? But it also gives us some arrangement, right? So well, we are using designers, and I think we should just use this format that is suggested. So because the image created is like a rectangular form, and our design is in like a square form, so we might lose the whole depth of this design of the image generated if we are not following, if we are not using this format. Let me increase my, yeah, I think this is cool. I can even choose to put this one here so that it doesn't cover all the major elements that are in this design, which I want to preserve. You can see I can choose to go with this design and just use it for an event, right? So I just use this supporting text, proper hierarchy, color harmony, and once I'm done with design, basically just come to here and export it. I use this 1.5 or 2x basically just to make it more clear, so I can export it. And I don't want to get into so much practical, but I just want to walk you through all the rudiments around these things. Then you can now try them on your, this is design just finished creating now, right? And you can see how clear it is. But this text here, there's something happening that I don't like. Digital marketing is overlapped, right? I can still go back to arrange this very, very well. What that means is that I want to have this here. Yes. Can you see? So the color is not so shouty, and the icons, the image suggests, I already tell you that this is like a digital skill that you can learn this and that in it, right? And you can now put the venue, the time, and the registration fee or something, or registration link on it. So let me see. I want to wrap up with that. Before I wrap up, let me take some questions. Let me take some questions and contributions. Let me take some questions, contributions. Before I go to, so before I wrap up, I'll just go to Canva. Let's do the same thing on Canva. But I want to get contributions. I want to get questions. I want to get like, what is that thing that you find interesting so far? Some of the things we have discussed today. Anybody want to go? What are you finding interesting in today's class? I want to quickly hear one or two persons. I'll go to Canva now. This is Figma. Figma is a desktop. I don't think you can design on your phone, but for phone design you can use Canva. Which is why I will go to Canva and do this same design from scratch on Canva. Okay, let me take one or two. Let me take one. You can choose to unmute your mic. I'm also following on the group so I can see. I just want to take some comments so that I can from there know how to. Yeah. Anybody? I also drop it on the Telegram group. I want to pause and hear from you, or if not everybody, but I want to hear one or two things. And if you have a question too, you can quickly drop it as well. Please, let's be fast. Let's be fast. Okay, if I don't get any response from anybody or any message, I'll just okay.
There's a response on the chat.
Yes, thank you. How it and clear and with the assistance of AI, right prompts are recommended. Yes, that's true. Right prompt. So when we talk about right prompt, it means properly explain to the AI what you want to do, right? And it will help you create it. To help you create it. So you need to properly explain to the AI what you want to do. So because of this class, I'm going to take you guys on Canva. Let's do Canva. So you can get Canva on your phones. You can do this on your phone. And you can also do it on your computer. So I'm doing Canva on my computer, but that doesn't mean I cannot do it on my phone. So like I said, you can upload image as well on Canva. Like let me use this image that I uploaded earlier on. Let's use this image. Let me just increase this image a bit. And I'll just title this one. Should we use the same title? Let's go back. Let's see if I use the same title. Bold it. This is a text tool, right? Let's make it white as well. However, this image does not best explain what we want to do, so I would prefer to use the previous image I've been using, which is this one. So I'm going to take this one out, delete this shape as well, and bring this new one that I just uploaded here. right? And I can choose to make it, the last time was 70 points, right? And we're using popping. Remember, that was the typography that ChatGPT suggested. Let me see if we have popping here. Yes, it's here as well on Canva. You can see that some of these platforms, they have the same experience. Sorry, once it's night and I'm facing light so much, I need to, well, let me switch this light power to 1 as well. Yes. So, where is the text? Where is the main text? I will use any other. Master graphic design, and add come to text as well. Click on text. Okay. Subtitle text. Let's change the type, the color. No, it should not be bold. The color should be white. This is so. If you are using Canva on your phone, it may be a different experience, but you will find these two bars around. You find them around. So let me just quickly state this. So on some of these platforms, for example, now on Canva now, 70 points that we use here is quite bigger, almost covering the whole page, compared to that on Figma. That 70 points, you can see how 70 points is here for this headline text. But if you look at it on Canva, it looks a bit bigger, and sometimes it could be maybe because of the dimension we are using, right? Yeah, I think it could be because of that too, right? So, but oftentimes their points may not be similar. So let's reduce this to like 18. Yes. And I want to put a shape down here so I can put the data. Let's come to elements, add like a basic rectangle here, but I'm going to reduce it, right? And copy those other details, which I have them here, these ones. You can see this arrangement. I'm not so cool with it. I prefer it to be in max 2 lines. You know, ChatGPT said 2 or 3 lines. So if you start adding too much arrangement that your lines are becoming more than 3, it makes your design look somehow. So that's why you use what the AI recommend for you. This is another color, but I can choose to change this background color to like, and there's something we call pick a color. You can pick a color from your image as well. So let's pick a dark color. Let me pick on this angle. Right? So this is it, for example, and I'm done. I can just click to share, and I will click on download. I can increase it, but let me just use it. Download it. And now it is downloaded. I have it on my computer as well. This is the one from Canva. Can you see that? Now, just to wrap up this class, one of the things I also recommend is be friends with Pinterest. Pinterest is a design platform. It helps to also, you can also generate image. You can see free image to use, but beyond image, it helps you to build a design mentality or a design. It has to be more design concept basically, because when you see more designs, like suppose you see how to arrange a text or how not to arrange a text, you can learn, you can get ideas from this. Look at this one, for example. I can choose to use this one. Basically, they just use rectangles, three rectangles. They put the photos inside, put the text by the side. They flip this one, flip it up, right? A circle and a rectangle by side and stuff like that. So be friends with be friends with thank you. Okay, just some more comments on what I find interesting in the class. Oh, I'm just saying that. Thank you so much for those contributions. So what I'm saying is that be friend with Pinterest. Pinterest is a good place to be if you want to build more competencies around your design. You will see a lot of inspiration there that you can always just to also add, right? It's not a bad thing to copy ideas as a designer. Like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about creative framework, sometimes you can get inspirations from nature. You can also get inspirations from what people have done, and you can now tweak a little bit, right? We are professional copiers, let me use that word. But don't copy word for this. It's not between copying to improve than copying exactly. And that's where they now call is it plagiarism they call it now? I'm trying to remember the particular word it's called, where you copy somebody's work exactly and use as your own work. Right? So you don't copy somebody's work and use this. You can combine, and that's why you have platforms like Pinterest. You can see 3 or 4 design concepts. Pick one here, and have it to make up your own design. Right? So I think that will be all in this class. I'm going to pause here and I want to get questions. I think if you ask more questions, it will help me to know how to explore further. But if you don't have any questions, it's fine. So let me pause here. Questions. If there be questions, you can request for the mic, right? You can request for the mic, or you can also drop it on the group. If you have questions, you can drop it on the group. Okay. I'm not getting any question from anybody. That means my class was well understood, right? So, in the absence of no question, okay, I'm just taking a chill to see that there is no question before I stop screen sharing. Let me stop sharing first. Yeah.
Asking a question.
Okay.
Would there also be a class for users, and how can we add on?
I am trying to get that question again. What do you say, Niola?
The person has, is there going to be class for Pixel Lab users, and how can we add funds?
Is there going to be class for Pixel user? I'm trying to find the question. I can read it as well, but because I cannot hear your voice clearly, Niola.
It's on WhatsApp group chat. It's on the WhatsApp community.
Okay. Okay, will there be class for Pixel Lab users? How can we add fonts? Okay. Pixel Lab is actually a phone app for designing. You can install it on your phone. Some of the things that I've explained in this class, you can practice it on Pixel Lab as well, right? However, I'm currently not teaching from phone, I'm teaching from my computer, which is a bit of a limitation. If I'm doing that on my phone, it should be helpful for you to also see it. For Pixel Lab, I'm trying to remember some of the things that because I used it as a designer at some point before I started building Canva as my go-to. I'm trying to remember. I think it picks the font from your phone. So how do you get fonts? That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. If you want to get fonts, you can go to there are platforms that you can download fonts from. And those fonts can also work on your phone. So for example, Dafont, dafont.com is a good platform to download fonts from. If you download those fonts, you can install it on your phone, also on your computer, and your device will pick up that font and it will update it on your designing platform. So I remember, for example, there was a time I was working on a video on CapCut on my phone. So I needed a particular font, right, which I couldn't find on my phone. What I did was I basically went to other font platforms, other font website that you can download fonts from. So I went I think it was that font I used that day. I downloaded the font from that font and I just installed it on my phone, right? So after I installed it on my phone, I was able to use it for the design I was doing on CapCut that day. So one of the things I mentioned again as a designer, you are first of all the designer. In fact, permit me to say you are first of all the tool before any other tool. And what that means is that you are not constrained to just one tool. As I am now, there's no tool I cannot use for designing because it's first of all a mindset thing. You are the one that creates things. So the tools can just be a medium to achieve what is on your mind. So that's why I can use Figma, I can use Photoshop, I can use Illustrator, I can use Pixel Lab, I can use CapCut, I can use Canva because they all have they all have similar elements, similarities, right? But sometimes you just need to learn them. Like, how do I? And that's not hard. It's not hard to learn any platforms. But first of what comes first is your own self as a designer. And that's why I talked about the framework when I started this class, which I want to restate again before we round up today. Presence is first of all important. I'm a believer, and what that means for me is that the presence of God is my cultivating or is my place for nurturing. So it also affects my design. It affects what I do, right? The presence of God helps you to, it shows in your work. So if you are a creative, you need to have a proper connection. You need to have a proper presence with the divine, with the Lord. And the good entry basically is for those that believe in Jesus Christ, right? So it also applies to other people, right? But cultivate a presence with the divine. That's the first point. The next one is your own person. You are a product of who you are. Your design, your expressions, your creativity are basically a product of who you are. So your soul, when your soul is intact, it also tells on what you do. Like I said earlier on, this framework I'm talking about is a framework in Lightpath. You go to our website, or I can send you the link, the blog link. Please read it. And you'll find a proper explanation on that framework that we worked on. Number 3 is your place. The place you find yourself affects your creativity. So I've seen that play out a lot, right? If you are someone that you live just like a single room, I'm not saying that it's not good to live in a single room. I once lived in a single room, right? Now I now stay like in a 3-bedroom apartment. I have so much space where I live now, right? So there's a way that space affects your creativity too. If you are in a constrained place, it does not help you to stretch your mind. And that's why I also recommend as a creative, find time to go out, go to events, go to nature, play game, find places that helps your mind. It helps to help you a lot. So find places, and part of the place as well is also find love. It's good to have love in your life. I talk about love, your family, your friend, and your also relationship. All those things that affect your creativity. My mentor, Mr. Michael Tommy Light, used to say something, say marry well. And it's true because if you get married to the right person, there's a way it also help you to flourish. And if you do otherwise, there's a way it shrinks what you can produce. That's for place. The next one is for people. So when you are creating things, when you are designing things, have people in mind. Have people in mind. You have yourself in mind as a person, but have people as well in mind. Create things that when you are creating, think about the people that will see this thing. And someone is requesting for the mind. And the last one is products, which I talk about that has to do with have a way of putting your design or your creativity into something that is tangible that people can use, right? So, someone was requesting for the mic earlier on. I don't know if the person is here. For the mic. If there is no question, let's see that question. What's the advantage of Corel Draw for designer? Oh, thank you so much for that. I think I've answered that in my conversation, but let me just say it again. All these are tools. They don't have any advantage. Let me put it that way. I can just say that for Corel Draw, because of in Nigeria printing industry, for example, people use more of Corel Draw. I also have Corel Draw on my computer, but I can't remember when last I opened it. When I want to do a printing job, which I'm going to interface Nigeria printers, I know that some of them they don't use Adobe Illustrator, they don't use Photoshop, but they have Corel Draw. So I have to bring that design to Corel Draw, and so that for me, so I can be able to send it to them and they can able to print my job. But the good thing is that you can export design as a PDF file on any of those platforms and they can use it. So for advantage, I will not say Corel Draw has an advantage over any other platform. I will not say Adobe Photoshop has an advantage. You can. I've met someone that he knows how to use Corel Draw like we are doing Photoshop. And if you see his design, you'll be amazed that this person is doing this thing on Corel Draw, not even on Photoshop. So I've seen people like that the only thing that they know how to use is Corel Draw. They will do design that you that are using Photoshop, you'll be amazed that this is massive. So but I would advise don't be restrained to a tool or a platform. Like I said, I can use Corel Draw. I use design as well. I can use Photoshop. I can use Adobe Illustrator. I also use Figma. I showed you I use Figma to design. I use Canva to design. I use Pixel Lab to design. The main point is be a designer as a person. Then other ones are just tools that you can always try them out anytime. Must all the principles of design be captured in the design? No. We have so many design principles, but what you can do is that let them be a guiding post for what you are designing. So let's say, for example, let's go back to Figma. Let me share my screen again quickly. So, like I said, design principles are there to guide you. There's an example that is called construct, which is what we apply here. Let me go back to the slide. Let's find design principle. I just summarize this slide, right? Yes, let me see here. This is his construct. You can read more about construct, but the idea behind construct is that try and create let what you are sorry. So let me show you what construct looks like. Let's go back to the flyer design we are working on. You can see how this text is visible to see. So imagine that I now take this text, I now added a color like let's watch a color. Let me pick the color of this flyer. I think this one is still. Can you compare this one? Let's look at this one here. And which one is brighter? Which one has a good construct? Right? And this one, having it on white. In fact, this one is still, this blue here is still very cool, right? But you can see that the one with white text pops out. Why this one here is a bit sinking. It's not like it's not clear though. You can see it, but it's a dark background, a dark blue background. And your blue text too, kind of, it's kind of, I'm trying to follow the charts on the group as well. Okay, it's kind of syncing around it. So construct is a principle that tells you that when you're trying to apply color on top a color, use the thicker one and a lighter version. So this one, for example, this one still looks cool, still has a bit of a good contrast, right? So, but I can, for those of you that understand color is also a topic that I used to teach, right? I can adjust it to a lighter version. Now look at this color. This is also the same blue, right? But I've adjusted it to a lighter version of that color, which gives a good contrast compared to what when it was here before. Are you seeing it? And now when I reduce, it's not like it's not white though. It's not white. Some of you might think it's white. So on a dark background or a dark color, use a light version that has a good contrast. That's the principle of contrast. So you don't have to use all the principles. You don't have to use all of them on a particular design, but let them guide you as you are designing. So I would advise that please go online, read about design principles. There are so many principles. I think it's not so much. I think there are about 12 within that range. I'm not so sure, but you can read more about it. It will guide you when you are designing, basically. So that's on design principle. You don't have to use all of them, but let them guide you when you are designing. Let them guide you when you are designing. All right, I need to all this typing. I don't know if it's a question before I wrap up. Before I wrap up, we have like 10 minutes. I can see somebody typing, but I don't know if that is a question. Let me also check on Discord, on Telegram. I've seen a comment. Okay, what's your advantage? Thank you, Mr. Victor. I think I've answered that question. Yeah, good evening, sir. Please, will the recorded session be available? I could not join it. Okay, yes. All the sessions are going to be recorded and you can access them. So, I think that's all for tonight. I'm going to stop recording now.